Thanks for coming for this talk. I'm Sharon. So may I ask for a quick hands who have actually attended this morning's session at our Inspire Theatre? A quick show of hands. All right, good. So in fact, right, this talk is going to, it's like a part 2 of what we heard this morning. Why? Because, we have been talking about digital transformations, like how many organizations need to evolve, right? To meet changing needs of customers, we need to look into different business models, operating models, or of course, different business strategies. So here in this talk, we're going to look at how our talent plan, our talent strategies needs to be aligned with all these changes that we have been talking about since this morning and what your organization is going through right now. So what are the talent decisions that we need to make differently, right? Because of all these, what you call disruption, changes, new futures of work, which I think we are all very familiar with this term. So again, thank you for coming. Now, before we go further, a quick intro about myself. I'm a lecturer and consultant in NUS ISS. And my work in ISS very much focused on digital leadership training, particularly in the area of change leadership. And I also teach courses around business agility as well. Okay, so here we are talking about talent agenda. So for the first thing I'd like to ask, right, when you talk about talent, how often talent is being discussed or is being reviewed in our CEO meetings today, or in our department meetings, or even in our own meetings? So we know in the digital world, or in a digital business environment, talent for sure is a very important strategic asset that we must gain in order to win in the digital business world today. And therefore, the talent strategy, the talent plan, needs the same level of attention, the same level of support resources from our senior leaders and all the leaders across the organizations, as much as they look how much they've been putting their attention resources into the financial planning or their long-term business growth, right? It's not just for HR or for learning and development teams to figure this out alone. It should be a collective effort, alignment across the organization, how we can help our talents to grow, to learn, and to adapt all these changes in the organization business plan or strategies. So if I invite you to look at these two pictures and ask you which one is best representative of what a good salesman looks like to you, I'm sure many of us, our first reactions will be, of course, this smiley guy, looks very friendly with a lot of communication gadgets around him, right? With very strong interpersonal skill, can talk, can influence, can communicate with the customers to attract them to buy our product and services. So this is what we call soft skills. Of course, soft skills are still very, very important today. But think again, our top salesman, especially if our organization is selling product or services to our customer, could be this guy or this lady sitting behind the screen, busy building algorithm, busy looking at data to gain insights and predict what the customer is likely to buy next, or who is the next customer likely that we can engage or likely to buy our products. So with the explosion of technologies, as we all know, AI, data analytics, the scale of e-commerce that we see today, indeed, this simple example reminds us again how digital has shifted the value of skills in many industries. So when we talk about aligning business strategy and talent strategy, what does it really mean? And how does it work? So we have to start looking at the business strategy and ask, first of all, are we clear of what is our business strategy today? How has it been evolved or need to be involved in order to meet the changing customer need, in order to compete with the new competitions in our industry or in our marketplace today. So we also see many organizations, right, their new business model, their new business strategy is very much driven by the technologies. Right? It's very common nowadays. We see there are many organizations, even government or private, in many different industries, they have moved their business model to become a platform business, e-commerce, and changing the different ways they engage the customers, changing the way they perform works. Now, with all these changes in the business plan, business goal, business strategy, how does it impact on our talent plan, on our talent strategy? What are the talent decisions that we have to make? So first and foremost, of course, when we are looking at different business model, different strategy, there will be different skill set, different skill and knowledge we need in our workforce, okay? In the talents in our organization. Do they already have those skill sets? If not, how can we help them to grow, to learn those skill sets or knowledge that is needed to support the changes in the business plan or the business strategy? So indeed, talent strategy is very much driven by the business needs most of the time. Although sometimes we know, especially in the startup scene, right, we have very many talented young people. They know what they are good at. They know where their strengths are. And they sometimes come together with fresh ideas. They want to test the market, right, on their new business idea. So sometimes the talents can influence, right, where the business direction should be. But I guess in many cases, our talent strategy is very much driven by the business to support the business needs. Now, if I ask you, what are the highly sought skill job roles today in the job marketplace? If you look at the LinkedIn, you look at the job posting websites, right? Very common that you see roles, skills like data analyst, data scientist, AI engineer, platform managers, and many more. And if I ask 5 years or 8 years down the road, if you look at what will be the highly sought skills, then I'm sure many agrees the list will look very different from what we see today. So the shelf life of skill, especially technological skills, are getting shorter, right? So I think that's something that, and because of that, our talent strategies need to be very adaptable. It needs to be robust enough to keep up with the changes, right? Changes in terms of our business strategy will evolve, right? Because there will be different expectations from the customer in years to come. There will be different technologies will continue to disrupt how we do business, how we engage the customers. So therefore, our talent strategy has to be as agile as our business strategy. Now, when we talk about alignment between business strategy and talent strategy, of course, there will be challenges. It's never easy. It's a very, very complex process. But what we see, what is a common challenge here is, what I like to highlight here is the clarity. Why clarity? First of all, are we clear with what's the directions of our business or organization today, right? To stay relevant, to compete, to gain competitive advantage, right, in our marketplace, in our industry. How clear is this strategy to different stakeholders in our organization? Not just at the top. Okay, usually the leaders, they are very clear, but how about the middle management and everyone else in the organizations? Now, if the business strategy is clear enough, we need to translate it into what are the capabilities we need to support the strategy. So we need to know, identify, based on the business strategy, we need to know what are the needed capabilities. And from the capabilities, again, we have to interpret and translate what are the roles, the skills to deliver those capabilities. Now you see there are this interpretation or this translation from strategy to capabilities, to skills, and to the roles. And in reality today, there's a lot of different interpretation, there's a lot of different translation by different stakeholders in the organization from top to the bottom, right? So this is a challenges I think we all recognize, and I think we need to work as a team, work as an organization to overcome that. We need to have that common language to align the understanding, to align the meaning, also to align the priorities. Okay. Now, despite the complexity, despite the challenges that we know it's never easy to put this together on the same page. Sorry.
Last question before you go further, is it okay?
I will have time for question, don't worry. Okay. But if it's okay, can I? But maybe a quick question if you want to.
Yeah, because later it may. So two very quick questions. First is you said that every 5 years the skills are changing for the IT people or people in this field. Mm-hmm. So if I am in this area and I am a data analyst, after 5 years my skills will be out of demand. So how do I prepare myself for a long-term career, good digital career? Mm-hmm. That what comes after 7 years, I am ready for it. What comes after 15 years, I am ready for it.
Yeah.
And from organization point of view, organization wants to groom people who can run their company tomorrow, right? If a certain skill set is going out of date after 5 years, how is the organization grooming these people to become future managers?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, second question, maybe we'll cover it, but I'll just put a pointer over there. That even the marketing guys are not able to sit with the IT guys because things are changing so fast to define what are the skills needed to be successful for the product, to be successful in the market. So then they have to give very clear directions to the IT guys. We want this to be done for our product. Then accordingly, IT will go and source those type of people. So even the senior level people are not very clear on that business strategy is this, and this is what is needed to run marketing better or IT better. Hence, these are the type of people needed. Yeah. So it's starting at the top now in terms of misalignment.
Yes, definitely. The misalignment. It happens, right, in every level.
And things are changing so fast because even marketing guys don't understand quite a few things in digital.
Exactly. Yeah. I love your question, especially the first two. I mean, I can quickly share with the rest of here, right? I mean, the question was, I mean, we all know the skill will change, especially technological skills, right? It will change so fast. So how do we prepare ourselves, right? Or even prepare for our employees, our organizations to embrace the change, be ready for the change, right? How do I know what skill that I need to learn next, right? I mean, some of these skills may not even exist today, or we may not even know today. Now, my short answer to that is, there is one skill that is very important for all of us, especially here, we can't even, I mean, it's so unpredictable, is sense making, okay? Sense making is very important. What does sense making do is we really have to look up, right? Look at all the signals, look at what is happening today. I know it's very noisy out there. There's a lot of fake news, a lot of whatever, all the noise are out there. But I think the sense-making skill is very, very important as a leader or as an individual, right? I mean, I don't have a perfect answer to that, but I think we are not here to just sit here and wait, okay, what's going to change next, and then see what I can do, right? I'm sure we can still make sense of what is happening today, and then we still have to decide, all right, how best we can prepare ourselves for the next wave of change. Okay, right. So, so that's your first part of the question. Your second part of the questions, let me see. You were asking about. Sorry, I think it slipped my mind.
The skill set or the How does the organization prepare future managers?
Okay, prepare the futures managers, right? So I guess it's kind of allude to the same response, right? Again, it's really about doing, we have all the different data points, they have different signals, right? Look at the market, look at what other people are doing, and even beyond our industry, right? So these are all the things that we have to be very sensitive to as a leader when we plan. Some organizations, you guys have what we call workforce planning, right? Maybe not all have this exercise. It's nothing new, by the way, but perhaps what you are sensing today and what you were sensing 10 years, 20 years ago could be very different, right? There could be some unconventional sources that you need to look out for, right? To plan your workforce, to prepare them for the future. So I hope that's kind of answer. But feel free to ask again. I hope to give you some time for everyone sometimes for some questions later. But thanks.
Okay.
All right. So we talk about just now. This gentleman also bring out very. It's really a reality, right? This alignment is never easy, and it could even start from the top, or it gets cascaded down. But I guess first is really recognize we need to align, right, as much as possible. That's why the communications is very important. The clarity is very important. Now, so to address this, although it's challenging, although it's complex, but what can we do? Where can we start when we want to plan our talent strategies? Like I said, right? We have to be clear, or we must know what is our business strategy today, right? Like I said, talent strategy is very much business driven. And from there, we need to translate, we need to identify what are the capabilities that we need. Now, what does it mean? Now, for example, today, I know many organizations, they are looking into innovation space, right? Every organization recognizes innovation is so important. Do we already have this capability, or we need to build, right? So for example, when you talk about innovations, there are organizations that are big enough, they probably already have an R&D department, or they may be thinking of building one, right? Research and development. And for those who don't see why they need this department, or they may not be able to afford such a department, think also about your culture. Your culture is also one of your capabilities, right? If you talk about innovation, is your culture today reward people who experiment, right? So this is something that we need to think about. Let me give you another example. Let's say your business strategy, one of it is to expand regionally or globally. So from a talent perspective, right, we may have to think about, okay, so if I'm going to expand my business beyond Singapore, how am I going to manage my remote talent, right? Employees that will be sitting in different countries. So what are the systems, what are the processes that I need to put in place? Perhaps, if you look at it from a leadership perspective, right, now that my business become global or regional, so the leaders also need to have international leadership skill, right, to support this strategy. And perhaps from a technological perspective, what kind of infrastructure, the IT infrastructure that you need so that you can scale your solution, you can scale your products or your services, and at the same time, agile enough or be adaptable enough to different needs in different parts of your the business in different countries. For example, tech stack infrastructures. So this is something that we need to think about. Now, of course, it doesn't end here, right? Because from the capabilities, we will need to deep dive. So then what are the skills and roles that we need to have in order to deliver the capabilities that we have identified? So you can see we will get deeper into all these important information. We all have roles in our organizations today. We also have skills, we have competency. But the question is it enough, right? Do we already have the skill that we need, or the new skills that we need to meet the changes, or rather to support the new business strategy or your digital transformation plan that your organization has set? Now, when I talk about roles, right, There are many roles in our organizations, that's for sure. But what I'd like you to think about is, what are the critical roles in your organization today? When I say critical, it's really the roles that are most pivotal to execute your business strategies. Where are these roles? And what are the competency, the experience that are needed for this role to be successful? So what do I mean by critical? So if I ask a CEO, where are your critical roles? Guess what will be his first response? Right? He probably will say, or she will say, yeah, those people who report to me. Because these are all C-level, like the chief marketing officer. Will the CEO think about one of those roles that probably 3 or 4 down the hierarchy level? Maybe yes, maybe not. But most of the time, people recognize that those roles at the top of the organization, those are critical roles. Well, nothing wrong with that. For sure, those are very important roles. These are the strategic roles that make important decisions, set vision, build strategies to drive the business or the organization forward. However, what I'd like to ask, or we ought to think again, there are times critical roles can be 2 or 3 levels down in our org chart. So this is something that I think we just want to recognize or think again. When we talk about critical roles, what makes it critical? What does it really mean? So today in digital world, we are very often, even this morning, we talk about value. What is that value that this role brings? The impact that this role brings to the business and especially to the customers. That's what makes it critical, right? Because we know, even you look at the org chart, even the top layer, the C-level, right? They are all on the same level. But you think again, doesn't mean they are on the same level, they deliver or they produce the same value or the same level of impact, right? It can never be the same. So what I like to bring in here is value, what I like to bring in here is this value creation mindset or value-driven mindset when we look at our talent strategy. Okay? So what does value mean? It can mean a lot of things. Everyone will interpret this differently. But like I said, the value, if it's something, an outcome that will delight your customer, an outcome that will make your customer buy your services, your products, an outcome that matters to your business, right? That's very much aligned to your business purpose, your vision, that will be the value. The value is not completing a task. The value is not completing a project. It's not building a system. So once we have a clarity of what this value means, especially from your critical roles, then we know what talent we need to fill this role, to fulfill this role, to deliver the outcome, to deliver that value. Why this is important? Because if we have no clarity of value, right, we may not bring the right people to fill the right roles. And we have missed opportunities there. Right? So this is something that we want to look out for. Now, I took this from the McKinsey research. I think most of us know McKinsey, the global research firm out there. McKinsey defined there are 2 types of persona in organization role. They call it, one is value creators, and the other one is value enablers. Now, just by looking at the term itself, I think we all can guess, value creators are the roles that bring direct revenue to our business. Right? Easy guess, if you have sales team, they are our value creators. Perhaps our marketing team, they are also our value creators because they are elevating our brand presence in the marketplace. Or perhaps your customer support team or your customer service team who are transforming your customer experience, delighting your customers so that you have a very good rating, right, in terms of your product or services in the marketplace. So these are the value creators. Now we know the value creators, they can't work alone. They need support from the backbone of the organization. And that's where we are looking at who are our value enablers. These are the roles working hard behind the scene, protecting the value, right? So I'm sure you probably are thinking of your IT team, your finance team, even your cyber team, because today it's very real, there's a digital threat, right? So why, and when we look at them, these are what we call, they are also, although they are so-called supporting team, right? They are what you call back-end team sometimes, but they are still delivering value. Okay? And we want to recognize that. Not everyone, but we have to recognize that how they are contributing the value, the impact for our business, for our customers. And very often, the value enablers are often very often they are the one that we always overlook. Okay? Now, so how far have we come? When we talk about talent strategy, right? We started that, okay, we start with the business strategy, we need to identify what the capabilities, then we have to go and find out what the role skills that to support or deliver the capabilities. Then just now we talk about, okay, then what is that critical value that we need to identify, we need to be clear, right? To be that, especially coming from our critical roles in our organization. Now, if you notice, at this point, we have not even talking about who yet. So, talent strategy, do not start with individuals. Do not start with your high-performance individual. Do not start with high-performance team. It starts with the business need first. Once we have a clear alignment, a clarity on what actually our business is going after, what we need in terms of capability, skill, role, value, then we know who we need. Where are the talents? Who are the talents? They could be already in our organization today, and we want to recognize that. And of course, there will be people or the skills or the roles that we need is not exist in our organization today, and we need to create them. And we know why. We know what's the purpose. Now, of course, now if you look at our talent pools, there are many out there, but of course we have to first recognize our own talent pool, our own organization workforce, who we have in our organizations today. These are the talents we want to continue to grow them, to help them learn new skills and knowledge so that they can continue to support, right, our changing business strategy or to prepare them for the changes in front of us. And these are the talents that has the most, or they are the experts in terms of your business. They have all the business domain, the industry domain, and they are the people who define your culture in your organizations today, right? Now, on top of that, we know because of uncertainty, there's a lot of things moving just too fast. Sometimes our organization, our business, we really need to get the very important skill set competency as fast as possible, right? We can't wait to develop them in our workforce. And today, I think we are quite fortunate, I would say. There's a lot of platforms out there, right? I call it talent as a service platform. I think we are all quite familiar with that, where we can engage the freelancers, or we call it gigs workforce. And these are the people that they have specialized expertise. They are I would say they are very experienced professionals that we can engage them to feel either the urgent needs to get things done now, or even to experiment something or maybe for a special project, because you want to experiment something and you engage this expertise to work on it. And of course, we can't ignore technologies, how technologies has changed many things in our organization, especially the tasks that we are performing, our employees are performing. Now, when I talk about technologies, it's not just technologies that are automating our tasks, right? The technologies will keep growing, and in fact, now we are seeing there are more and more what we call cognitive intelligence out there, right? Technologies that can help us to make decisions, or maybe augments together with the humans or the talents to make much better decisions, to augment the human performance, either making decisions or making predictive analysis. And they are part of our workforce too. So essentially, when we talk about talent strategy, it all boils down to 4 key decisions area, right? To develop the talent within our organizations. They are our assets, or we go out and buy. To hire, which what we always do. And we can also hire freelancer. We borrow their skill for a specific period of time for a specific purpose. And of course, we can use technologies, right, to perform some of the tasks, right, with better result, better cost, and so on. Now, each of these options, for sure, is never perfect. There's always pros and cons. But I'd like to share, there are some important questions we need to ask ourselves, right? Why we choose these options. So of course, firstly, we need to develop our employees, right? They are our asset, they are our talents. Yes, things change, and we must give them the opportunity to learn, to practice the new skills that we need to support the business, to support the business goal, the new business goal, the transformation plan, whatever you have, right, that you need your people to execute them. Now, we can't develop all sorts of skills, but we need to be very strategic, especially when you already have your long-term goals, right? Because we know skills will take time to develop. And these are the very important skills that will sustain our business success. So we need to keep them within our own house, right? So what are the strategic skills to be trained? And when we talk about skill development, we know it's never a one-off, one-time project or one-time exercise. It's an ongoing. So the next question to ask is, do we want to build an in-house training capability, right, for the long term, or we want to partner with an external training providers, for example? And today, I think we have seen many organizations, especially the bigger one, they have established what we call corporate academy or digital academy as part of their long-term strategy to develop new skill, new knowledge continuously. All right? Now, when we hire, I'm sure we all hire new people with the skills that we need from time to time. But then today, I think we all know we are all facing this talent crunch, right? No matter where we are. So obviously we ask, are the talents available in the market? Right? Can we afford them? Where are they? We are fighting with other organizations with better pay, better package, whatever, right? So there are many reasons, right, why it's so hard to get talents in the market today. But then I also want to ask, right, do we also able to, or can we also so-called hire our talent internally instead of just looking externally? Does our organization practice job rotation, job transfer, to at least allow our talent, our employees, a chance to try different jobs, learn different skills, gain different experience? And I think this is an important consideration. Why? Because if the employees or your talents, they are hungry for growth, they want to learn new things, might as well we give them a chance within our organizations, right? To let them try different roles, rather than eventually we'll still lose them, right? When they seek growth opportunities outside or go to our competitors. Now another consideration or another question we ask, when we hire, are we still looking within our industry? Are we still looking within the sectors with what we call our own industry experience? Right? Nothing wrong with that. Yes, that will come in very useful. But I guess it's also time for us to look beyond. Right? What are the transferable skills that we can bring in from other sectors, from other industries, that can help us to transform? When we say transform, means do things differently, right? So people from outside of our own sector, industry, they will have fresh idea, fresh perspective, right? To come and help us to do things differently, see things differently. So I have a very quick example here about Volvo. Okay, Volvo, the car company. So at one time, they in fact actually hire fashion designer from fashion industry to design the new look of their car models, right? So thinking that, with the new look, with a new designer with different perspective or different style, right? It may attract different type of customers to buy their cars, yeah? And of course, when we want to engage freelancer, I don't know how many of you or your organizations today already doing that. You look for freelancer for specific purpose to do the specific jobs, right? I think it's very important for us to consider, okay, why do we need the freelancers now? For what purpose? How long we need them? I think one very important question is, what can we learn from this freelancer? They can bring in a lot of expertise. So when we have that collaboration with them, or when they work on our projects, our team, our employees may be able to learn something useful from them, right? Yeah. Now, of course, technologies always be here. We continue to buy new technologies, invest on them to perform whatever task it can do better. But I think the question here is, even though we have those technologies, or we buy new technologies and so on, the technologies will not work by itself, right? We still need our employees, our talents to know how to use the technology, how to manage them, right? At the end of the day, we still need people to design the process, right? How the technology works, how the technology integrates with everything else in our organization. So these are all we need the human to come in with the right skills to be able to use the technologies to serve the purpose, serve the objective. Now, so these are all the considerations. Now I want to touch a little bit about this topic called on job redesign. I think it's important because we know technologies, we have a lot of technologies currently in our organization. We are trying new things. Certain tasks need to be changed, or it will be taken, so-called, I don't want to use taken over, but we know that technologies are there to perform certain things, and that may also affect certain job roles, right? So I think this process is important, and I think many organizations today are already embarking on this, or in the midst of this. But what I like to point out is, of course, cost is always an important consideration, right? If we have the technologies that can perform the task cheaper, better result, less error, higher quality, why not? right? But on top of the cost, again, let's bring in or let's identify what is the value that we actually can gain out of these technologies. Meaning to say that, yes, they are these job roles, right? Most of the tasks will be automated. Then, then what will happen to these employees, right? They are our talents too. They have potentials to learn. They have potentials to grow. So with the time that's given to them, right, now that they may not have to perform half of the tasks they used to perform, that's the opportunities, that's the opportunity for us to help them learn new skill, create new tasks, deliver new value to the customers or to the business. And on top of that, they might be happier. Why? Because they find more meaning in the work that they do. Well, I won't say all of them, but I would say most of them. If we can help them to see where's the value is, right? And this is a very important consideration, especially when we want to retain our talent, when we want to attract our talent to our organizations. Okay, how can we use technology to make jobs more meaningful for our employees? Now, I'm not going to go too much into this job redesign process, but what I'd like to highlight here is it's very important, especially if any of you are going through this currently in your organization, it's very important to involve your employees who are impacted by this. They know best what they do. They are the one closest to the task. So as a leader, as a manager, we shall involve them, hear them first, understand their concern. There could be blind spot that we can uncover during those conversations. Involve them in the decision making so that at the end of the day, they know why their job need to be different, why their job will be changing, and they understand that, hey, we are here to support them and for the next step. Okay, so I kind of want to conclude. These are the key considerations that I just ran through just now. And I just want to summarize it into these 5 key questions, right? So when we want to, again, how can we align our talent strategy with our business strategy? First, of course, what are the capabilities? We first of all ask, what are the capabilities, skills that we need to support our business transformations? Now, from there, of course, we ask, we have a lot of technologies out there, the emerging one, the maturing ones, right? What can we use in our own organization context that we think is useful? The technologies can come in to support, and what other skills that we need to invest, right, for the employees in the workforce. And of course, then we ask who has the skills that we need today. I'm sure they are people that already has the skills. We need to recognize them, and then that will lead us to where are the skills gap, right? I know a lot of these things are probably fall in the HR or your L&D functions, but I think as a manager or, especially when you have teams, you have people working for you, I think we should very much involve in this process, right? So that we know and we can work together and see how we can find the right people to fill the right roles at the right time. And of course, lastly, when we know our skills gaps, where our skills gap, then it's the decisions to hire, to build, or to get a freelancer, right? So these are all the considerations will come into place. Okay, so with that, I will conclude my talk here. And I can't overemphasize how important this talent strategy is, and how it should align to our business plan or whatever your organization is planning, or whatever the strategies that you guys have put in place, or transformation plan, you want to call it that. And it's very important that we must know with a clear purpose, right? What is the purpose of our talent strategy? What's the purpose of rehiring? The purpose of redeveloping our talents, the purpose of retain them. I think this purpose is very important, and it's a shared purpose across the organization, not just just for a few top leaders at the top, but I think it's really a purpose that everyone understands, everyone can work together, and really helps to nurture and continue to build our talents in our organization. So with that, I thank you for your attention. Of course, I have my QR code ready to invite you to share your feedback about this talk. And perhaps I can take 1 or 2 questions. Yeah, I have about 5 minutes. Yeah, I can take 1 or 2 questions, if any. Yeah. Happy to take questions. Any questions for me? So by the way, I'm also teaching talent and leadership professional certificates. And this is also one of the modules in our Master of Technology in Digital Leadership. So this is one of the very important topics that I teach in our master program, in our professional certificate. So if you find this is interesting, this is something that you think you, yourself, or your team may benefit from, feel free to check our website, or you can talk to me after this. All right? Yes? 2 slides, sure. This one? Yes. All right. Now, I don't want to hold you back if you do not have any questions, so that you can move to the next venue for the next talk, or you can stay here for the next talk, or go and have a quick short break. So again, once again, thank you for being here, and yeah, have a good day for the rest of session today. Thank you.